Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Happy full moon. I'm excited to be here with you today. I have been thinking about this all week, and I want to share a model for healing that I work with because I think it's valuable and really practical. I taught it in Self-Mastery Skills coursework. I taught it in Healing a God Wound for Closer to Spirit. And every time I connect and engage with the model, it evolves and clarifies and becomes overall more useful. And it's inspired from, there's a book called Waking the Tiger by Peter Levine, which is about healing trauma. And the way that he describes healing is that it happens in two spirals. You have a spiral of the trauma, and then you have a spiral of healing. And then we are oscillating between those 2 points, between the trauma and between the healing. And the way that lands in my system, the way that lands in energetics for me, is that there's a spiral of distortion and a spiral of resonance, still oscillating between the two, moving toward harmony. And one of the reasons that I find this useful is because I used to relate to healing as linear, right? Like it's just a line, you're just going one direction. It's like you have this thing that you're working on, and then you do something about it, you go through some sort of experience or therapy or whatever it is, and then you arrive on the other side of it healed. And what I've noticed in my life and with people that I work with, it's like, well, how come it comes up again, right? If I've done so much work on this thing or this issue or this experience or this wound, how come it continues to show itself in my world? And it's because it's not linear. It's actually spiraling around, and if something's showing up, then it means we have the opportunity to look at it from a higher view, to look at it through a new lens, to look at it just from a different perspective than we have previously had access to. And the more I pay attention to this and the more I tune to it, what I notice is that the distortions that we have about ourselves, about others, about how the world works, about what's possible for us, are very specific. They're very specific, they're unique to us. And because we are in it, living it, it feels like nobody else has this problem, or we're just the one person that can't figure it out, and it can feel very isolating. And so when we start to expand our awareness and noticing that it has purpose, that whatever wound is present, whatever distortion is present is maybe, this is my invitation for you, may be there to carry us somewhere that only it can take us. So something that I say often and work with often and am really passionate about is that we don't suffer for the sake of suffering. We suffer so that no suffering is wasted. And in the world, I see a lot of focus and a lot of attention on, I need to just be in this better feeling place, right? Like if I just hang out in love and joy and gratitude and appreciation, then life will just be wonderful and amazing. And that is true, right? Like if we are feeling those nice vibey feelings, then life feels easier. And what happens is we tend to really demonize the crunchier, uncomfortable feelings. And I know for sure, I am absolutely certain that we have to be able to navigate all of us. Sadness is the path or part of the path that brings us gratitude. Fear shows us love, right? We live in a duality, and so we can't have one without the other. The image that I want to give you is that they ride the same axis, right? So if we have 100% fear over here and 100% love over here, it's like a whole spectrum of experience. And pulling ourselves out of this requirement to always be in a certain feeling state gives us so much more room to breathe. And it doesn't mean we be victims, and it doesn't mean we hang out in the wound, right, just for the sake of suffering. It means we alchemize it. It means we use it. It means more of our energetics, more of our emotional intelligence, more of our ability to create comes online because there's more space within us to hold it. So whatever you're doing in life, if you're moving through stuffing down, that's something that we see often, or numbing, also something we see often, right? Because it's just either too much or I don't know what to do with it. I want to encourage you to look at it through this lens. Like, what if it's here to teach? What if it is a great gift for your life? Truly, what if there is an aspect or expression of your greatness that can only be experienced through this distortion? And the goal, in my opinion, isn't to move from 100% distortion to 100% resonance. We want more and more resonance in all areas of our life, absolutely. Reaching 100% resonance, I think, is like what enlightenment is, which is really beautiful, but then you really have no more reason to be here, right? There's nothing left to learn, and all of life is learning and expanding. So we could reach for that. We can reach for our maximum capacity and process and integrate and produce as much potential as possible over the scope of a lifetime, but we aren't looking for perfection. Yeah, I think that's accurate in how I want to say it. So learning to navigate the different distortions that you have about the world, being able to identify them and say like, oh, I'm noticing fear, sadness, anger, resentment, jealousy, insecurity, and there's so many. And I mean, how many of us cannot even name what we're actually feeling? So that is the first step, just to practice feeling and noticing and being able to identify and participate from that point, right? Because once we have an awareness, then we can choose how we want to navigate, choose how we want to participate, choose how we want to move forward with our experience. And it's like, it's not good or bad. I think that this is really important and something that I have to learn over and over again, right? It's like trauma to me has this quality of being bad, It's a very intense word, and it's like wrong. And then healing has this quality of being right. Like, that's where we're supposed to be, right? We're supposed to be healing. We're supposed to be developing because it's the right thing to do. And we really have to get clear on whose expectations we're trying to live up to, because yes, healing, yes, but because of what it brings into our life and because of the lifestyle that is available when we participate and engage through that lens, right? If we're operating from wounds, if we're operating from the hard, crunchy things that have happened for us, then that's how the rest of our landscape looks. That's what life gives us more of. And it's my experience and my observation that we cycle back around, right? We ride that spiral. We'll ride that spiral of distortion forever if we don't get off of it, right? If we don't actively participate and take action and get new information and steer ourselves toward where we want to go. So in a spiral of distortion, what you're looking at is like crunchy feelings, tunnel vision, right? Like you can only see what is right here. It's a very narrow viewpoint. It's isolation. It's the feeling of being trapped and being obsessed with yourself, right? Like me, what is happening to me, my experience, and unable to disengage from that. It's compulsive and impulsive. Like, I don't know why I'm still scrolling Instagram. I don't know why I'm still staring at this Netflix show that I don't want to be watching anymore, right? Like, that is compulsive. It's powerless, you know? And a spiral of resonance is harmony and flow and the eagle eye view and solutions and creative solutions and problem solving and wow, isn't this neat? You have been in both of those places. And so I hope hearing this, the next time you feel a little wobbly, you feel a little wonky, you feel a little off, it will just pop into your mind like, this is a distortion. This is not necessarily real. This is not necessarily accurate. There's an access point and an access point that goes right into the expression of this in its resonance, the expression of this situation as it serves me, as it heals me, as it calls me into greatness and the fullness of my brilliance, the fullness of my expression. And it's not, you know, when it comes to brilliance, I spend a lot of time feeling into this, and it's not, can we do it? It's not, can we be the best version of ourselves? It's, can we bear it? Can we stand it? Can we stand to be in our brilliance? Can we stand to be, you know, a lifestyle and a state of being that is vibrant and delightful and enthusiastic? Can we stand that without shying away? That is the practice. That is the medicine. Okay. That is what I have for you today. Model for healing, the difference between a spiral of resonance and a spiral of distortion, and what it's like to ride those waves, oscillating between them, knowing that you can be in either or place. You can also be in both places at the same time, right? You can see both of those viewpoints simultaneously and hold the truth of them, acknowledge them, validate them, and then choose and orient yourself toward where you would like to be, where you would like to go. Okay, I hope this serves you. Please let me know how it lands in your system. If you have any thoughts on it, I would like to hear. Have a beautiful day. XOXO, big heart. Take care.